Hey guys, welcome back. So this video today is all about visualization and how we can use visualization in every single day within our spiritual practices and also just within everyday life. It doesn't have to be things that we want to do in a spiritual setting. We can just visualize any point in the day. It really doesn't matter. And the more we do it, the more we practice, the better we get at it. So I thought today we'd do a little bit of a video, a little bit of an exercise, and you can just do it in your own time while you're watching this video, and I'll just talk you through something fairly generic. And there's a lot of people out there that can visualize really, really well, don't need a lot of guidance, and can do it without any issues. There are a lot of people out there that are not visual at all. Because they'll have gifts elsewhere that may be more auditory or more sensory. But your clairvoyance, being visual, is an extremely powerful way to be able to create, to be able to manifest, to be able to see outcomes, see what you want to create within yourself, see the future that you want to create for yourself. Maybe you working on a business, or you have a project and you want to visualize that final goal, and that gives you something to aim towards. Then you need to use visualization. And if you haven't got that skill, if you haven't got that tool in everyday life, because let's face it, schools don't teach you this sort of stuff, then this kind of channel is where you need to be for that kind of information. So we're just going to start off really basic and really easy, and we're just going to talk about what visualization is. You've probably already got the gist of it anyway, but I'll cover it slightly, and where we visualize from. And a lot of people think we just visualize from one place. Personally, I think we visualize from a lot of places internally within us, so I want to cover that subject a little bit as well, because it's quite deep, and it does go quite far, but your main place of visualization is what's known as the pineal gland, or the third eye. A lot of people talk about it. It's in like the middle of the head, right in the middle of the brain, and it's where your imagination comes from, it's where dreams come from, it's where a lot of fun and enjoyment chemicals and endorphins come from, and things like that. And it's one of the places that many people focus on more than anything in spiritual practices. And I was just talking to a client today actually about the chakras, and I did say how most people focus on the third eye and tend to just, that seems to always be the most important thing to them, because they just want to be able to see, they want to be able to visualize, which is good. But you need to be able to visualize from a place of balance, and this is where the root chakra for me is the most important chakra within your body. I might do another video on that another day, because that's totally separate to this one. So visualization is basically a tool that you can use in everyday life to visualize an outcome, visualize the person, visualize the place, visualize where you want to be in life. Especially for like the law of attraction, manifestation, you can visualize it, you can live it, you can be it, and it will eventually become your reality. And this is where a lot of people like to use visualization for that, mainly for manifestation. Personally, for me, I like to use it, yes, for that sort of thing. But I also like to use it within healing sessions. I also like to use it as a psychic sense. I also like to use it within my intuition. And I like to use it as much as I can. And usually I'm not always open, but I'm usually aware of when things are around, and I can usually see them, and they usually blip in and blip out fairly quickly. But that can sometimes be where it kind of scares a few people, because they don't really know what it is. But if you do see faces, or if you see a lot of faces in your mind's eye, it's usually spirit that is around, and they're kind of like just popping in and popping out. And nothing really usually to be worried about, so don't worry too much about it. It really started for me during the early stages of my spiritual awakening, where I was seeing loads and loads and loads of stuff and experiencing lots of weird things. And back in those days I was really kind of like a little bit shit scared of it all, because I didn't really know what it was, whereas now I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever, okay, no problem, move on. I'm busy, I've got my own life to live. But yeah, so that's kind of like how it works. And it's kind of like your antenna, really. It's your antenna, not just for yourself, but it's your antenna for other beings that might be around that want to communicate. But the best way of improving your visualization technique, if that's what you're here for today, which I assume you are because it's a video about visualization, then basically you want to keep it as simple as possible when you start visualizing. And the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you'll get. It's a bit like muscle memory, you know, the more you work on it, like when you go to the gym, or when you're meditating or anything like that, then the more you do it, the better you get at it. It's anything like that in life. Visualization is just the same thing. The more you do it, the more you work on it, the better it will get. You might be in the early stages where you see a lot of colours. Colours is usually a good sign that you've got clairvoyance, which is clear seeing, and you might get the odd vision as well. But yeah, really just sticking to keeping it as basic as possible. So focusing on something easy. And the first thing that I always think of is kind of like an apple. Just think of an apple. So I just want you now, you can close your eyes, you don't even have to close your eyes, but it's easier sometimes and it gets rid of the everyday distractions, but you can close your eyes if you want, and just in your mind, just think of an apple, a nice, juicy, green apple, and allow that picture to develop in your mind. So that nice, juicy, green apple, it's nice and plump and round. It's got a nice little shiny bit on the skin because it's nice and polished. It's got nice oils in the skin, and then maybe a little bit of a stalk poking out the top, and maybe it's got a leaf on that stalk as well. And then maybe you can move in a little bit closer and move in closer to the apple and just look at the skin itself. You know, has it got any imperfections in the skin? Has it got any little dots? Has it got any little marks? Is there a little bit of red in the skin? Is it a different colour? Is it not green? Is your apple red? You know, and just allow the mind to follow, allow the thoughts to just go and just create that apple. And just allow that vision, allow those feelings, allow everything to just arise within the mind and internally. You know, you don't need to connect too much to it. You can just watch it, just be with it. And the longer you can hold that vision, the longer you can visualize that apple, you know, the better you're getting at it. And then you can start adding things to it. Maybe you can see that apple now, and maybe there's a bee on the apple, and it's just having a sniff around that stalk and the leaf, looking for pollen, but there's no flower on the apple. And now the bee's just flown away. And I'm watching this as well as I'm doing this for you. I'm visualizing all this in my mind as I'm guiding you through it. And maybe now if we move back from the apple, you can see a bigger picture starting to unfold. And maybe the apple is actually fallen from a tree and it's on a field of grass. And there's other apples that have fallen nearby. And if you visualize and look to the left, maybe you can see the apple tree that it's fallen from. If you can't visualize this far, if you can't see this much, don't worry about it. Stick with the apple. Just look at the apple and look at the detail. Look at the detail of the apple. Tune into the leaf of the apple. Maybe the leaf has got different colors on that stalk. Look at the shape of the stalk that's coming out of the apple. Can you move the apple around and look at the underside of the apple? You know, and just keep it as basic as possible for what is right for you. And the more you do it, the more you practice with it, the more you try it, the easier it will get, the more used to it you'll be, because you're starting to engage the third eye, you're starting to open up, you're starting to actually you get a feeling with the apple, you get a feeling of connection to nature with the apple. And this is where, when I was talking about before, about you don't just see with the third eye, you feel it. You move into that area, you move into that space. And this is where, when we use visualization and meditation and hypnosis, this is where you may move into these areas of really feeling the place that you're at, being aware of the environment that is around you, being aware of the interactions of the other people or the other feelings in meditation or hypnosis, whatever might come up. It's exactly the same within visualization, the technique of visualization. So that's just a little taster of visualization for you. If you found this effective and you were able to focus on the apple and see the details on the apple, if you were able to see the grass, if you were able to see the tree that was where the apple had fallen from, then you're really on a really good path. You're on a good way to being able to develop your clairvoyant skill further. And were you aware of any feelings that arose from within? Did you feel that connection to where the apple was? Was there anything else that came up from within? Was there any feelings? Sometimes you can visualize the actual eating of the apple and taste that juicy flesh from the apple. So just keep practicing with it, keep giving it a go, and just see where you go with it. And I'm going to do some more of these videos in the future where we're going to look deeper into visualization to develop that intuitive, clairvoyant, psychic ability. And we'll go deeper into the other abilities, the clairsentience, the claircognizance, the clairaudience, all the other clairs that come alongside it, that work. They all work together on some level, and some are stronger than others, and others obviously weaker than others. So I hope you found this video useful. I hope you found it informative. Do please like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content and enjoy the playlists. I have quite a few playlists on the channel now with lots of different subjects, from meditation to hypnosis, spiritual life development, coaching, some of the lives that I've done, Reiki sessions, Reiki healing on the channel. There's all sorts of playlists on here, so do have a look over on the actual channel page and check those out. But until the next video, much love, take care of yourselves, and keep practicing that visualization. Bye for now.